This is the Self-Aware Leader Podcast. Now your host, Jason Rigby.
I'm going to talk about something today that some of you, including myself, are not going to like. I've been thinking about this question. I don't know how long. I would say at least a week and a half, and it's been every single day bugging me in a good way. And that's what it is to be a self-aware leader, isn't it? It's this ability to be able to ask yourself questions, dig super deep, and find answers so that it unlocks puzzle pieces in your brain and makes things not seem like it's so dramatic and so like this is so crazy, I'll never figure this out. I'm just this type of person. I don't believe that. I think being self-aware, I think it's our responsibility as a leader also, but being self-aware allows us to evolve, to learn, to grow, to have that growth mindset. Question, I had saw this a couple weeks ago, and I'm sorry, but I don't remember the source, but I don't want to take credit for this. But what they said was, what does true maximum commitment really look like? And what does it feel like? Listen to this. Listen to me. This is super important. I want to ask this question again. And I want you guys, and even if you need to pause this right now, after you hear it, and begin to think, what does true maximum commitment really look like and feel like? And I want to talk today about being truly committed. And I'm not talking about being stressed out to the point to where, oh my God, you don't know, Jason, I'm truly committed. I'm at 100%. You should see what I have to do with the kids and the practices I've taken. And I have to take here, and then I spend 12, 15-hour days at work. And then from there, my weekends, I barely have any time by the time I do. I teach in a Sunday school, and we go to church, and that's Sunday morning, and then that's all packed. And then it's Monday morning. I'm getting ready Sunday night. It's like I don't even have time to breathe. You're talking about commitment, Jason? What are we questioning here? I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about being busy. I'm not talking about being active. I'm not talking about stressing yourself out to the point because you feel obligated because those that are around you at the level that you're at now are all doing that thing. So you feel like to fit in, I need to do that thing too. I'm talking about true commitment. And I want you to see what true maximum commitment really looks like. What does it feel like? For me, it's freedom. I begin to think of this as like if I was maximally committed to my relationship with the woman that I love, I'm maximally committed to her. What does that look like? What does that feel like? It feels good. It feels great. It feels amazing. And then things that look like is like trying to be more caring, more loving, being selfless, listening. It's a big one for us guys, isn't it? Listening. What does it look like and feel like? My maximum commitment to those that I love. So I want to dissect this. I think let's rephrase the question, or we can ask another question. Write that one down. What does true maximum commitment really look like and feel like? Here's the next one. What are you willing to sacrifice to achieve a goal or uphold a value? What are you willing to sacrifice? Ooh, we don't like that word, do we? And I'm going to talk about that here in a second. To achieve a goal or uphold a value. That hits a little harder, doesn't it? Because true commitment isn't just about the good times, the easy choices. It's about what you'll keep doing, who you'll keep being, even when it's inconvenient, even when it's difficult. And frankly, I'm going to use the worst word that we all hate in society today, and it's the U word. You're like, what the hell's the U word? The U word is uncomfortable. We have built a society on being comfortable, but it's not real. It's not authentic. You being comfortable is you stressed out and having major mental health problems. You being comfortable is you being obese and dying 10, 15 years early and having tons of medical problems by the time you retire. Why? Because I needed to be comfort. I needed comfort food. I needed to keep my insulin levels through the roof to the point of where, they're finding out that super high diabetes ends up what's causing dementia now. It's crazy. The things that our food, that's our medicine, the things that we put into our body, We're so worried about all the external things. It's so funny. We're worried about sunscreen and all these other things that are out there, lotions and stuff we do. And then the things that we put in our body day in and day out, 2-3 times a day. What is that? What are the chemicals that we put in our body? Do you see what I'm talking about here? It's about what we'll keep doing day in and day out, the maximum commitment that we have to ourselves, and then who we'll keep being. Are we going to uphold the value that we have for ourselves? Are we going to uphold the value that we have for our relationships? I'm going to get into that here in a second. You can't have a great relationship with anyone unless you have a great relationship with yourself first. And being comfortable in everything, having comfort, making sure that you're never inconvenienced, making sure that anything you do is never difficult, that's a recipe to being, 1, a bad leader, 2, being a fake person, because you have to. That's how we evolved as a species, is being in inconvenient, difficult, and uncomfortable situations. And that's when we adapt. And adaptation is amazing. It causes us to expand so rapidly, to evolve to the point where we're like, who was I 2 years ago? You want to have amazing leadership? You want to be the best for those that you serve? Let's talk about commitment in action. You want to be those things? Commitment in action. So I'm going to give you some examples of these. Just 3 of them. Relationships. Truly committed partners don't walk away at the first sign of conflict. No, they don't. And I'm not talking just relationships in general. I want you to get a more macro view of relationships. The macro view of relationships is a cosmic principle. It's a law. And that is everything that you interact with, you're in relationship with. If you begin to look at everything you do as being in a relationship with that, the relationship that you are with your food, the relationship that you are with your partner, the relationship that you are with your kids, the relationship with you are those that you serve. As a leader, that team that you serve, each and single one of those people are in a relationship, not just as a relationship individually, but as a whole too. What does the team look like in relation to the whole team? That's some self-aware questions to look at. Dissect the individuals and then dissect the team as a whole. And how does your relationship look like? Is it caring, loving, being kind, coaching, seeing the best and having vision far beyond even what they think they're capable of and believing in the best of them? And allowing them to make mistakes and fail and pulling them inside your office one by one and having conversations with them about those failures and making it that it's so positive that they feel inspired to be a better person, to be a person that is willing to say, hey, Jason did this for me. He shared this with me. He knows I made the mistake. I didn't have to hide it. We didn't hide it from the client or the customer either. In fact, we were honest and we went to him and told him this is what happened. And in turn, we made it right. And we earned the trust of the customer. You want to learn trust? Get deep in relationships. Truly committed partners, as I said before, don't walk away at the first sign of conflict. They stay and work through the challenges. Comfort relationships aren't real relationships. A relationship in and of its essence is going to have the yin and the yang, the black and the white, the as above, so below. And we have to stay and work through every single challenge, not because it's easy, but because the value of the relationship outweighs the temporary discomfort. Do you get that? This is a problem that we have with shallowness on social media. The relationships have no value. Temporary discomfort, as a leader, you embrace that because it gives you an opportunity. It gives you, when there's discomfort, when there's a problem, that problem creates an opportunity for you to build on your team, for you to build with that individual. What are you building, Jason? A relationship. that's built on trust and love and you serving them as a leader and being caring and seeing that love be reciprocal and come back to you. And you taking the lead because you can't expect them to handle the discomfort. You're the leader. You embrace that. You have to be like, oh, this person's been passive aggressive. We're having a problem with that person. Great. I am so happy I get to coach them and I get to address this and I get to build trust in their life and I get to find out what's wrong because I'm the leader and I'm going to embrace this and I'm going to coach them and we're going to see what's going on. If they're not coachable, then we're going to be quick to say adios amigos. I'm out of here. Maybe you as a leader need to do that. Maybe you need to bounce because it's the environment that you're in is toxic. A lot of times people stay in toxic environments or toxic relationships. Why? Because they don't understand the value of what a good relationship is because they've never grown up with one. They've never had one. It is amazing when you have good relationships with people and those great relationships are reciprocal and you start feeling love from others. It is amazing. It's so honest. It's everything that the world is not trying to present now. Let's get on to the next one. Health. Being committed to your health isn't about a crash diet. It's about making sustainable lifestyle changes. We're talking if you have to, early morning workouts, make the commitment, even when you're tired, and saying no to temptations that derail your goals. It is easy as a leader. The first thing I always tell young leaders to do is get your health in order. If you can master that, everything else is easier. The mental comes along with the health, the emotional. I don't know how many times I get excited about this one because this happened to me. I used to be super depressed. I used to be a passive-aggressive leader. I used to yell a lot and be angry. And then I started working on my health. And then I started working on eating good. Eating things I love. I eat a ton of protein. I eat steak. I eat chicken. I eat asparagus, green beans, all those things. Love them. And I say no to temptations. Occasionally, I'll have a piece of cake at a birthday party. Occasionally, if somebody offers me a donut, yeah, I'll eat half a donut or something. I don't need it. I don't crave it. I don't want it. It jacks me off of my path that I'm on. It's an instant high. To me, fast food is a heroin fix. Just on the physical side of things when it comes to food. I don't need it. There's a problem if I'm craving bad food. I have a mental or emotional problem that I have to work on if I'm craving bad food. And it's a sign. It's a trigger. It's like, boom. Next is career. Maximum commitment here means going the extra mile, putting in the late nights to perfect a project, taking on extra responsibility to learn. The things that aren't necessarily expected but are essential for growth. If you're a young leader and you're in your 20s right now and you're listening to me, your age group does not stay late. Your age group does especially not get to work early. There's one thing that you can do right now that'll separate yourself and put you in the top 1% and guaranteed that you'll get promoted. Come to work early and leave a little bit late. I'm talking an extra hour and a half a day. And use that time as like your power hour. I'm supposed to be gone. Everybody else took off. I'm going to stay late and I'm going to work my ass off for 30, 45 minutes because I know I'm lapping people. They're gone. They're in their car smoking weed as they drive home. Like, oh, what a stressful day. I'm working my ass off and getting the project done. I got 4 slides of the PowerPoint slides done when everybody else was goofing off. I love lapping people. I will do that on a holiday. If everybody's eating and then laying around, I'm not going to lay around. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to do 30 minutes, 45 minutes. Maybe I'm going to read. Maybe I'll work on a little bit of a project. I lap motherfuckers. And Ed Milet talked about that. Amazing. It's got millions of views on YouTube where he talks about taking the extra time. And if you're young, I'm not taking burn yourself out. That's what I'm not talking. We're not talking into like super hustle culture, where you're working 7 days a week, 15 hours a day. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about going the extra mile. Not settling for 9 to 5. Not settling for this is all I do for my job and this is it. If you're a leader, you need to learn. If you want to be a leader and you're in your 20s, you need to learn. The best way you learn is getting paid for it on the job. On the job training means you're getting paid to be a leader. If you put yourself in those situations where you can lead, look for opportunities to do extra work. What are you saying, Jason? I'm saying that's what makes you a leader quickly. When you can do extra work and handle it, and you're making your bosses look amazing, they will promote you. If they don't, move on. And guess what? The next place you go to and you do that same thing again, rinse and repeat, you're going to get a good boss and they're going to promote you. Guaranteed. Are you going to find a better opportunity because those that you're going around, that vibration that you're putting out there of abundance in your work, you don't have to work hard. It should be fun and easy. If your work is hard, you're in the wrong job. Have fun. Enjoy it. I want to work. It's Saturday evening right now. And I'm doing this podcast because I love to. I love the responses I get from you guys. I love seeing the podcast grow like it's been. It's awesome. We have an amazing community. I appreciate each and every one of you. Maximum commitment. Things aren't necessarily expected, but they are essential for growth. They are. If you want to grow, make a maximum commitment to your career. True commitment will stretch your comfort zone. There will be times when you want to give up. There's going to be times when you're going to want to walk away. There's going to be times, this is the biggest one, listen to me, guys. You tune me out while you're driving. All of a sudden, snap, snap, listen to me. You're going to want to cut corners. That's when you have to ask yourself that all-important question again. Is what you want on the other side of this challenge worth the sacrifice you're making now? If I'm going to work an extra hour and a half a day, 5-6 days a week, is it worth? What is on the other side of that? Me being a better leader, me serving people better, what's on the other side of that? Me starting and learning to coach people now when I'm young, so that when I'm 35, I'm a badass? I guarantee you, if you learn how to coach people and lead people and love people with servant leadership, you're going to be a CEO. Sky's the limit. Those leaders are few and far between. You're casting vision and showing vision and getting people that are 5, 6, and 7s to be 8, 9, and 10s in their life because of what you're doing. Find those leaders out there. Very, very few. It's important to be honest with yourself. Maybe now isn't the time, or perhaps you need to reevaluate whether your goal is truly in line with your values. Maybe the goal you have right now is not aligned with your values. Then switch, pivot. Everyone can pivot. I pivoted a career when I was 47. I pivoted to a totally new career that I knew nothing about. But it's turned out to be absolutely amazing. How do you cultivate maximum commitment? How do you cultivate maximum commitment? I want to know. You guys share this in the thoughts, your thoughts in the comments. You can DM me. I'm Self-Aware Leader Podcast on Instagram. Would love to be able to hear. I know I get a lot of responses from you guys and appreciate that. I'm also on Twitter, or X now, or whatever it is. So follow me. And one thing I ask you to do, don't ask for anything else, but I ask you to share this. Substack, Instagram, Apple, Spotify, whatever you listen to on the podcast, just share this with others. Would appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for tuning in to the Self-Aware Leader Podcast with host Jason Rigby. We hope this episode has inspired you to unleash your full potential and embrace your inner leadership. By expanding your consciousness, you can transform your mind, body, and soul and become the remarkable leader you were always meant to be. If you found this episode valuable, please share it with your loved ones and help us expand our community. Thank you for listening, and we look forward to having you join us again on the Self-Aware Leader Podcast.